SCP-238 Building Complex. Object Class Euclid. Assigned Site Site 163. Site Director Dr. Judith Lowe. Research Head Dr. Sergei Zhuravlev. Assigned MTF Psi-8, the last to fall. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-238 has been contained in situ, and a 5-kilometer exclusion zone has been set up around Schmidta Island under the cover story Omega Green 12, Ecological Preservation Area. All Foundation naval assets stationed at Provisional Site 163 have been disguised as Russian Federation Navy and tasked with preventing access to Schmidta Island. Exploration of the SCP-238 complex has been indefinitely suspended as per O5 Executive Order 05.ORD.238-086. Any entities attempting to breach the SCP-238 exclusion zone are to be dissuaded from doing so whenever possible. Any entities apprehended on Schmidta Island are to be detained for questioning. Entities observed gaining access to SCP-238 are to be presumed lost. Under no circumstances are Foundation assets to attempt any form of retrieval. The containment wing of Provisional Site 163 has been built around the opening to the cave housing the SCP-238 entrance, and access has been limited to L04/238 researchers only. Description: SCP-238 refers to an extensive network of underground tunnels and chambers theorized to exist within a pocket dimension outside of our prime reality. To date, the only known entrance to SCP-238 is through an intricately carved stone structure discovered in a cave on Schmidta Island, Russia. Despite multiple attempts to map the entirety of SCP-238, it is not currently known how extensive the SCP-238 facility is. While the area immediately surrounding the entrance to SCP-238 appears to be carved from rock similar in composition to that found in the Schmidta Island region, the composition shifts radically the further into the facility one explores. Samples taken periodically throughout the explored areas of the complex have displayed internal properties similar to rock formations found throughout the Ural, Baltic, and Mediterranean substrata. Additionally, significant portions of the SCP-238 complex appear to be comprised of organic tissue. While a majority of this tissue consists of calcified bone, there are some sections of the facility superstructure that retain characteristics most commonly found in still living human tissue. Discovery: the Foundation first became aware of SCP-238 during the acquisition of records from former GRU Division P assets in the aftermath of the fall of the USSR. While the coordinates of SCP-238 were listed in Division P files, no records of the initial discovery have yet been located. Access to the SCP-238 cave had been sealed by Division P operatives, though no records remain as to the original rationale behind this decision. Due to its extremely remote location, research into the anomaly was deemed a low priority by Foundation administration until reports surfaced of a missing Russian Federation Arctic Survey team that had been assigned to study the glaciers in the Severnaya Zemlya archipelago. A Foundation team sent to investigate the report found that the receding Schmidt ice cap had exposed the entrance to the SCP-238 cave, and the Division P containment barrier had recently been breached by unknown entities. While several expeditions into SCP-238 located the evidence of their passage, no members of the Russian survey team were ever found. Additional research. In April of 1997, a Foundation expedition under the leadership of Foundation parageologist Dr. Sergei Zhuravlev was sent to Schmidta Island in order to ascertain the whereabouts of the missing survey team, as well as to set up Provisional Site 163 in order to begin research into the SCP-238 anomaly. Overall management of the 238 research was originally assigned to Dr. Inga Ilyinishin, the Serbia Region Director. 238.doc.01 SCP-238 Initial Report. SCPF Internal Memorandum from Dr. Sergei Zhuravlev to Dr. Inga Ilyinishin. Date 8 May 1997. Re SCP-238 Initial Report. We've been at it for about a month now, and I figure you guys were itching for a proper report. When we first arrived, the cave opening was still relatively clear of ice, but it's damn cold up here. The only reason it hadn't frozen over yet was because of the precious little rainfall. Even so, setting up P-Site-163 has been a chore. We finally finished setting up our foothold on Schmidta and finished up the preliminary examinations of the SCP-238 portal. It was easy to confirm that the area on the other side is definitely not a part of our prime reality. None of the tunnels and structures visible through the 238 aperture show up on GPR, footnote, ground penetrating radar, and footnote, and the multi-D rep, footnote, Dr. Leonid Volikov, L03, Department of Multidimensional Research, and footnote. Usent with us has been having a field day studying the energy bleed from the event horizon. He was going on and on about stable Einstein-Rosen bridges. Footnote. An Einstein-Rosen bridge is more commonly referred to as a wormhole, a hyperwave bridge connecting two different iterations of spacetime. For further information regarding ER wormholes, see De Benedictis, Andrews, and Das, A. 2001, on a general class of wormhole geometries, classical and quantum gravity. End footnote. And he seems quite happy to sit in the cave and study his instrument readouts. When he finally gave the go-ahead, I sent in the first expedition with the intent of scouting out the area immediately surrounding the opening. The good news is we can run a hard line to the repeater array set up just on the other side of the event horizon. The bad news is that the 238 pocket is much, much larger than we originally anticipated. The repeater we placed in there only has a range of about 1,000 meters in that place, and we hit that pretty quick. So far, we've found very little of interest. One of the expedition guys found a beat-up old camera that we were able to confirm was owned by Dr. Pyotr Bravikov, one of the Arctic survey scientists. The casing was heavily damaged, and the data card was irretrievably corrupted. We were able to get a single image from it, however. It's mostly unhelpful as it shows the hallway just inside 238, but I'm attaching it for reference anyways. You might want to consider sending out a linguist. A little past the first junction we found some writing on the walls painted in some sort of ochre. I'm including a picture of that as well. Regards, Zravlev. The writing found on the cave wall was determined to be an archaic form of anti-memetic cognitohazardous glyphs known as Irma, utilized by adherents to Sarnian proto-Sarkism. As such, management of SCP-238 research was reassigned to Citra Arca personnel under the direction of Dr. Judith Lowe. Further expeditions into SCP-238 were indefinitely postponed due to budgetary shortfalls. File update. On 22 February 2020, cameras in the SCP-238 containment area recorded a figure stepping out of the portal. The figure appeared to be suffering from an advanced stage of SCP-610 infection, but was able to ambulate into the room utilizing 6 of its 8 limbs. It moved into the containment area and spent several minutes examining the containment gate before retreating back into the SCP-238 aperture. Upon consideration of this new development in light of otherworld events, Dr. Lowe directed that another expedition into SCP-238 be undertaken, this time composed of MTF Psi-8, the last to fail, Alpha Company specialists led by Commander Malachi Ben Liraz. 238.doc.03 Transcript. Date 24 February 2020. MTF, Psi-8 Alpha Company, 2nd Platoon. Team Lead, Commander Malachi Ben Liraz. Team Composition, Major Arundhati Dara, Specialist Pierre Bonifant. Specialist Samantha Sam Allen. Specialist Mikhail Lermontov. Forward, team members were outfitted with Class A environmental combat suits as well as internal self-termination protocols. Additionally, Specialist Allen was designated as incinerator support and was armed with Inferni plasma lance. Video feed is from Commander Ben Liraz's body camera. Begin log. Ben Liraz. Listen up, you may have noticed a new face in our complement. Major Dara is on loan to us from the Mole Rats. The powers that be have concluded that her expertise will be invaluable, and I happen to agree. You have any words of wisdom for us, Major? Dara. Trust your equipment. We'll be laying out anchor beacons as we go, and all your HUDs will sync to them, and those are often far more reliable than the shit you see with your eyes. If everything goes sideways, blank your visors and follow the beacons out. Those little blinking lights have saved more than one mole team, so we know they work. Ben Laraz. Thank you, Dara. Glad the rats could spare you for this little jaunt. Dara. You've been so busy fighting flesh monsters that Command figured you could use the extra D. Footnote. Extra-dimensional. Zeta-9 members are specifically trained in navigating extra-dimensional spaces. End footnote. Backup. Ben Laraz. Fair enough. You get us through, my guys will get us home. Everyone zip up, we're going over. Control, are we good to go? Zarovlev. Systems are green up here, Commander. We're getting telemetry from the beacon we put through earlier, and it looks like everything is clear in the entryway. Ben Laraz salutes the camera, then proceeds through the SCP-238 event horizon. Lermentov. Looks like they've made some upgrades since the last time we had people in here. Ben Laraz. Control, it looks like there has been some attempt at wiring this place. There are lights and the walls show evidence of extensive stonework. I can't tell if the walls have been plastered over or are just smoothed out. The team heads further into the complex. The excavations are more extensive here, and the texture of the walls changes radically. Exposed support beams made from calcified bone support cross-sections crafted from rusting metal and decaying wood, along with a wide variety of different types of brickwork and cement. The remains of machinery and fossilized organic tissue can be seen embedded in the walls exposed by excavation work. Dara. This place is a tomb. Not all of it is Sarkic, though. The feed shifts as Ben Laraz walks over to where Major Dara is crouched down next to a shallow pit. Inside the pit can be seen what looks like the torso portion of a suit of tarnished metal armor. She reaches down and lifts the corner of the breastplate, revealing a mass of fused gears and levers. Dara. This is mechanite. Whoever was in here dug something out of it and left everything else. Ben Laraz. The War of the Flesh. Dr. Lowe says it isn't clear how it ended, but everything points to something apocalyptic. Nearly depopulated the Mediterranean basin, whatever it was. I'd never heard that there was fighting this far, though. Unknown. They chased us for years after the Ozirmork fell. No place was safe from their pogroms, even here. The team moves into defensive positions around Ben Laraz and Dara. The video feed swings in several slow arcs, but no source of the voice is available. Ben Laraz. Identify yourself. Who's there? Several minutes of silence pass, with no observable changes in their surroundings. Alan. Well, at least we know this place isn't completely abandoned. Ben Laraz. No one ever said it was, Sam. Advance, tunnel formation, we're not done here. Control, we're proceeding further, gonna see if we can find the source of the voice. They keep moving through the complex. After another 1,200 meters, Dara stops and steps closer to the side of the tunnel. She pulls an instrument off her utility harness and moves it a few inches from the wall. Ben Laraz. What is it, Dati? Dara. This wall is different. Lots of bone is used in the construction, but this is still living tissue. Unknown. Adi wasn't built, it was grown. Only the most devout of us could ever hope to serve as shelter for the faithful. Our faith provided everything we needed, and those of us so elevated became Karak glorified in their ascension. But even the ascended still aged, even if slowly. More flesh was always needed. As the Karak aged, their extremities died first. Made the outer walls stronger, as the ascended reallocated nutrition to those structures closer to the heart. Dara touched her ear, then gestured further down the tunnel. A moment later, the team started moving cautiously in that direction. Unknown. Adium was glorious in those days, spires and domes as far as the eye could see, standing in ranks around the grand Karakana. And when they sang, all Adium rejoiced together in chorus. The team moves forward, exiting into a vast cavern built on a much larger scale than the rest of the complex surveyed so far. A large bonfire can be seen burning in a central hearth, and hundreds of candles are spread out across the floor. Unknown. The Nalkasun. Footnote. Old Aditite, lusting/hungry flesh. And footnote. Was never meant to be a weapon, but after the Ozirmork fell, the Lujikatane. Footnote. Old Aditite, song/prayer for strength. And footnote. Became corrupted. It was the song of ascendancy, the gift of Ion to the faithful, a way to feed the Karak. But in the end it became as the Red Death, and the Kalakaran released it upon those that would wish us harm. On the far side of the cavern can be seen a deep alcove, and the team follows the spiraling pattern of the candles to the opening, spreading out to either side. Specialist Allen steps first into the alcove, leading the way with her lance. Unknown. And now you come into me, bringing your weapons of death, stinking of machine and of the mortification of the flesh that comes with too long association with those dead things. I protected the faithful from the fleshless, and I have yet to surrender my vigil. Ben Laraz. You're the facility, aren't you? We're not here to cause you harm. We're researchers, and we just want to know what's going on. SCP-238. Your heart beats with your lie, Commander. Even if you don't wish to cause harm to those I protect, your masters certainly do. But their chance to do so has passed. The Azirmork once again walks the earth, and all shall tremble before the host. Those who will be free shall be welcomed with open arms, but even those who resist shall be embraced by the Holocaust. Allen. Commander, there's movement on the other side of the cavern. Ben Laraz. Right then, time for exfil. Allen, you've got point. Lead us out. SCP-238. Join us, Ben Laraz. Let this not be your Kalmanna. Ben Laraz. No, I don't think so. We're getting out, even if we have to burn our way through. SCP-238. So be it. End log. Afterward. The remainder of this log has been omitted for brevity. Psi-8 was able to exfiltrate, but were engaged the entirety of that transit by entities in advanced stages of SCP-610 infection. Specialist Bonifant and Commander Ben Laraz were the only two to make it to the extraction site, but Specialist Bonifant succumbed to 610 infection and was terminated. Commander Ben Laraz was released after no sign of infection were found following 14 days of quarantine. O5 Executive Override Order 238-086. Governance of SCP-238 has been reassigned to the Kelipat Noga Initiative and has been slated for decommissioning. At no point should any Foundation personnel attempt to enter or disturb the SCP-238 archway. Any personnel attempting to violate this order will be subject to immediate termination. SCP-238 has been sealed. May those that reside within find whatever piece they are searching for. End file.